In today's video we're going to talk about classes. As of now, iELYON has 6 different classes: Slayer, Warlord, Elementalist, Mystic, Assassin, and Gunner. Each has a unique playstyle and a bunch of ways to be played. Every class in iELYON has a tab skill that gives a class its identity. Slayer's tab ability, Rampage, can be activated on low health, giving him a partial crowd control immunity, increased attack speed, and significantly decreasing damage taken, making him a force to be reckoned with. Slayer carries a greatsword, dealing devastating heavy melee attacks with a mix of some dark magic. Some of Slayer's abilities can cost HP on use, so finding the perfect balance between surviving and outputting damage is crucial when mastering the class. And if you get too lonely, just summon a copy of yourself. He might even use some of your skills. Warlord's tab skill is Impregnable Fortress. You summon a shield wall that decreases damage taken and grants crowd control immunity to anyone staying within the walls. That, and the taunt skill, makes Warlord a very valuable member of any party. Warlord also has a bunch of ways to use crowd control, like pulling in the enemies, knockdowns, airborne, and just traditional stuns. Besides that, Warlord can absorb tons of damage and utilize defensive abilities to output some massive damage himself, or just straight up throw a bunch of shields, making enemies regret they ever existed. Assassin's tab ability, Stealth, hides you from the enemies and stuns them once you perform an attack. This class is pretty good at avoiding damage by using counterattacks and utilizing the smokescreen ability, allowing you to dodge most of the enemy attacks. Besides that, Assassin has many ways to break distance, allowing for a very dynamic and fast-paced gameplay. You can also choose between creating a classic melee build or decide to go for a ranged build instead, Shuriken style. Elementalist's tab ability is Leap. Leap instantly teleports you forward with an ability to teleport back to the initial location within a short period of time. It's a great mobility skill that can be effectively used in both PvE and PvP scenarios. Elementalist skills divide into 3 elements: Ice, Fire, and Lightning. Ice focuses on crowd controlling your enemies. Fire is mostly about doing massive amounts of damage. Lightning is a good mix of everything, including some mobility skills. Many abilities can also be combined with each other, making Elementalist a very engaging class to play. Mystic's tab ability is Resurrect, which, as you've probably guessed, resurrects a fallen ally. Mystic is the only class in the game that can provide consistent healing in various forms, as well as different ways to support your allies, like cleans and crowd control immunity. Besides that, this class has many kinds of crowd control skills and ways to kite your enemies. Mystic is not just a support, but can also deal some decent damage on his own. You can summon forces of nature that will fight alongside you, or just drop a golem on someone's head. Gunner's tab ability, Power Reload, increases the damage of skills that use pistols or rifle, while also adding special effects to some of your skills. Gunner is an extremely agile and fast-paced class, able to quickly gain distance between enemies while doing bursts of damage. Gunner has both rifle and pistol skills, both of which have their own synergy that you might want to consider when creating your build. You can choose to play a close combat fear nothing kind of playstyle, or just kite your enemies from afar, utilizing mines, turrets, and war drones at your disposal. Today we're going to talk about the new class, Archer. Archer uses a bow as his main weapon and is an extremely agile, fast-paced class that utilizes a mix of light and nature damage to destroy everything on its path. Archer's core gameplay is largely determined by two passives, Gale and Wind Force arrows. Gale grants stacks, increasing attack speed and movement speed. Stacks can be gained by using several skills, so maintaining those is going to be important to maximize Archer's performance. Wind Force Arrow is a stacking effect that deals nature damage and burns enemies' energy. Some skills can grant you stacks, while others are used to unleash those, so you would probably want to play around with your build to find a decent balance. You can also instantly gain max stacks of Wind Force arrows with your tap skill, which allows for a more coordinated damage burst. Another Archer's mechanic that is worth mentioning is Perfect Zone. Some of the skills have a charging bar and grant additional effects if fully charged, or the same effect can be gained by releasing the skill at the Perfect Zone. Archer also has a few utility skills in his arsenal. For example, Tornado grants you stealth for a few seconds, knockbacking or even stunning enemies if attacked within a short period of time. Wind Trap removes all buffs from your opponent, or can even apply area of effect healing to you and your party members. Altered Quiver Charge is also another great way to heal your allies by hitting them with Wind Force arrows. There is a variety of builds that you can experiment with, and if you ever find yourself getting a bit overwhelmed, you can always try out the recommended presets we have prepared for your smooth early game with Archer. Today we're going to learn about the new class, Paladin. Paladin is a warrior that uses a longsword and a shield as his weapons, utilizing light to get through any kind of battles. Paladin has two stances that can be switched at any time depending on your playstyle or the situation you're in. Judgment Stance deals extra light damage when using energy consuming skills as well as buffs your overall damage. Protective Stance recovers HP for you and your party members when consuming energy. Besides that, stances can also completely change certain skills. For example, using Judgment of Light during the Judgment stance creates light fields that damage enemies over time. However, if you're in a protective stance, it changes the skill to grant you and your allies an overtime healing buff. Besides stances, Paladin skills also divide into two categories, Will Generation and Will Consumption. Using the Will Generation skills will result in your will bar filling in. You can later consume it by utilizing the Will Consumption skills and gain some extra damage or healing. It's also worth mentioning some of the Paladin's support type of skills. Holy Heal is a basic AoE healing skill. However, when using with the Epic attribute, it revives the nearby allies by sacrificing Paladin's life. There are also AoE damage reducing skills, as well as various buffs to you and your party members. Try Paladin out and decide whether you want to step on the path of light.